put a moratorium on all the trade that this guy is engaging on our behalf, all these transactions that he's signing, whether they are Danis, whether they are the ones with IMF or the World Bank, all this must be stopped. He has to cease. Even as we continue our activism, but we need to adopt various advocacy mechanisms also to make this thing stop.
Yeah. Thank you, Justice. So much. Thank you, Justice. I think Anthony had something. I'll give the mic to Anthony, and then I give the ladies the mic. Thank you, Anthony. Did you want to chime in?
No, yes. This is something for Justice to actually think about. He ran for president. I would want to know how different would you have governed Kenya? What would have been your policy for education, for infrastructure, for health, for agriculture and all that? That's something I would want to know from you. But let's bring in some ladies like you, Nani had suggested, Hillary had suggested. Daniel, I see your hand is up, but let's bring in
Wangu, Luande.
Wango, yes.
Then Josephine, then Wanjiru, in that order.
Thank you, guys. And yeah, I like this debate and us coming together to deliberate on our country and what's best for Kenya. Navigating political uncertainty. Yes, we are at this point, we are at crossroads. And I agree with some of the speakers here, but we cannot just sort of look at what's happening in Kenya as just a local thing or a national thing. And also not just look at it in an international point of view. And by this, I'm talking about the influence of the imperialists. We cannot ignore it at all. Because we've seen, for example, when Ruto sometimes is making a public address, we are sure, as Kenyans, we know he's not talking to us. Some of the things he is saying, he is really not talking to us. And that tells us that our priorities are not, or rather our needs or what we need as a country is not going to be prioritized by this man. And we've seen that. And also that's very clear with the bills that are outstanding to be debated in Parliament, for example, all those punitive bills. We know that they are coming, and we know that they are not there to serve us as Kenyans. They are not. They are there to serve whoever that he is listening to. And so we ask ourselves, what do we do and where do we go from here? Yes, I do agree that, sometimes we as a people, we can be so discouraging. Tunaona hao watu wenye, especially the young people, wakati wanasimama, wanajaribu kuvoice what's happening, then tunawachapa, tunakosoa the wrong way the minute they make a tiny little mistake. Na zingine ni that some of them are things that even if we were going through the same thing, probably we would be making the same mistakes. Now we are very quick to cancel them. And some of them, don't get me wrong, they deserve it. But at the same time, we go slow a little bit. We are going through a process, which is something that we haven't gone through before, where we are really active. We've become very active citizens, which is a good thing. But at the same time, we are learning as we go, and mistakes are going to be made. And I'm a bit slow to sort of jump on someone sort of to criticize just because they have made their first mistake. So I just hope we can be a little bit more forgiving, or a little bit slow at just watching and sort of learning as we go. And that's for mainly the young leaders that are upcoming. But also the fact that and this is also a way of looking at the way forward. I think we've started well. Some of us who are not Gen Zs have been trying to speak. before even this year. We've been trying to, especially those of us in diaspora, we've been trying to come together and sort of to look at what we can do. And yes, our voice was quite tiny at that time, but now we have everyone in Kenya who is following on what's happening and really, really hungry for change. And it's time to bring all this together so that, you know, we can move our country forward. And I think one way that we are really looking at is the fact that our generation, or rather those of us who are sort of 40s below, 50s below, we are really sort of, we don't look at tribal as they used to be. We are coming together regardless of which tribe we are from, and sort of supporting an issue. Still, I would urge, we still remain issue-based. And first of all, to realize that the systems that we have, mainly the systems we have in Kenya, are really sort of broken. And on my view, my opinion, is that right now, I know we're here in this forum, we are discussing who would have been better, who would be, you know, we can put Okia Omtata tomorrow as we do sort of respect this man, and the system will still beat Okia. And he would still not do what we would want him to do, because the systems are so broken. And my view is that it's the system that we need to change, so that when we put people in these positions, they are not swallowed by the system. And sort of we look at them. How many of us have seen someone, an upcoming MP or even MCA, someone that we know, that we believed in, but the minute they become a leader, they change and becomes a stranger? Oh, sorry.
Okay, Wanga, I will give you 1 minute to land. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I was saying, and they become a stranger, and then we don't know who they are anymore. So one way forward, and I think I need us to look at, is where we've seen things moving forward, like West Africa. Yes, we have examples in Africa that we can follow, and we need to look at. For me, I would think even we should be considering something like that, because that's one way that we know that not many people are going to be killed when they are out in the streets protesting. Because I feel bad as a diasporian asking people to go to the streets while I'm not there, risking my own life, and ensuring that we are safe, but at the same time doing something that's going to change our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Wango. One of the requests and we talked this with Hillary, is that the West, Europe, America, you guys have seen what